Home is safety. Home is being comfortable in your own skin. Home is having that outlet from the world. And this is my home. It's my living room. Honestly, it's my favorite area just to think, entertain. My kitchen where I try to cook. But I've been kind of successful on it. It's a little smaller than I wanted it to be, but really cozy, and I love it. So.
But there's one feature in Maurice's St. Louis Park condo that stands out above it all.
That I own it, you know? And it's like, hey, this is mine.
At 24 years old,
And then we're gonna go down the hallway.
Maurice is taking a sure-footed leap towards wealth building, knowing the homeownership disparities stacked against him.
My favorite room.
Among white Minnesotans, more than 3 out of 4 own homes. Just over half of Minnesotans of color own homes. But for black Minnesotans, fewer than 1 out of 3 are homeowners. Compare that to black homeownership rates back in 1950, when 46% of black families owned their homes, but the rate has dropped almost half since then.
Seeing people that look like me just gives me that more of that confidence.
Maurice enrolled in first-time homebuyer classes with Project for Pride in Living to seek guidance navigating the complexities of credit and mortgages.
Oh my goodness, yes. Those classes are, I just feel like they should be mandatory in a sense. It just makes me feel accomplished, you know, a major milestone in my life.
I always remember growing up how important homeownership was to my parents. So my family is from Vietnam. We escaped during the fall of Saigon. We lived in an apartment for a number of years until my parents were able to save enough money to purchase a home. There weren't very many pictures back then, but we did have one picture where we stood in front of the house with our sponsors that helped us come over from Vietnam, and it was pretty incredible.
In Minnesota Housing's single-family division, Casey Keir learned firsthand how homeownership, long seen as the cornerstone of the American dream, is also haunted by decades of discriminatory practices. And Minnesota's homeownership disparity gap still has a persistent inequity compared to the rest of the country.
What you'll probably also hear, that the homeownership disparity between white households and black households is the worst in the nation, so it's unacceptably low.
A direct reflection of historical racist practices, from redlining, racial covenants written into deeds, and predatory lending, especially during the Great Recession. A history that hits close to home for Commissioner Jennifer Ho.
I was sad but not surprised to learn that my mother's father probably intimidated black homeowners who moved into their neighborhood when my mother was young. You know, my mom is a Minnesotan descendant of German and Swedish immigrants, farmers. My father was born in Hawaii before statehood. He's Chinese, he's native Hawaiian. I grew up in a multicultural household that didn't always own the fact that it was a multicultural household. Having learned that, am I proud of that? No. But is it important for me to understand that that's part of my family's history? Yes. The work that we do, lending to first-time homebuyers of color, is some of the most exciting work this agency, has done over the last decade, and I inherited that.
A decade ago, about 23% of Minnesota Housing's loans to first-time homebuyers went to families of color. Today, that's jumped to 40% of loans going to families of color, and still climbing.
We got results. And those are results that we've continued to build on year after year.
We also need to develop programs that work for people of color, making sure that we have down payment and closing cost assistance, having trusted advisors to help bridge the knowledge gap in what it takes and what the path to homeownership is.
As we think about the next 50 years, I think that we have to figure out how to not leave so many people behind in terms of the accumulation of wealth. And we need to figure out how to make communities that work for everybody, and that starts with our homes.
This is my favorite room of the condo, and as you can tell, I have a problem. So
Maurice can only hope that others do walk in his shoes, as a first-time homebuyer, understanding the comfort that comes with closing the gap.
home is personality. Home is just a reflection of who you are and who you love and who you associate with and everything like that. I feel like that's what home is to me.